Hello again, everybody. I'm Dave Cohen. After 2 road trips, successful ones to Long Island and victories over both Adelphi and Hofstra, Syracuse is back in the Carrier Dome for the combination spring football game and annual contest against Hobart. This is a game that matches Division III against Division I. It's very unique in college sports, but throw that out and factor in the Krause-Simmons Trophy, which goes to the winner of this upstate battle for bragging rights. Syracuse and Hobart, 2 teams that have dominated lacrosse. Hobart with 10 straight championships in Division III to this point, and Syracuse the 2-time defending national champions in Division I. So it was Syracuse against Hobart, 2 teams with a lot of orange. And sit back now and enjoy this renewal of the rivalry, again with the Krause-Simmons Trophy on the line.
As a youngster, as a player, and as a coach, Roy Simmons has always known about the special significance of a Syracuse-Hobart lacrosse game. There's one key change this year. This man, Dave Urick, after 10 national championships in 10 years, is now the head coach at Georgetown. His successor at Hobart, making his first trip into the Carrier Dome, 1975 graduate, 2-time All-America, B.J. O'Hara, who coached formerly at Dartmouth. Last year at Boswell Field, Geneva, Bill Miller's goal helped Hobart stay within 1 in the 4th quarter before Syracuse finally pulled away to win 17-8. This year in the Dome, the Statesmen will be facing Gary and Paul Gaits for the final time. They've never beaten a Syracuse team featuring the Gaits, and Gary is now the all-time leading goal scorer at Syracuse. Super Sports, a production of Cook Cablevision of Syracuse, presents Syracuse Lacrosse. Today in the Carrier Dome, the Hobart Statesmen meet the Syracuse Orangemen. Hi again, everybody. Dave Cohn along with Dale Drypulcher. They're from a private school in upstate New York. They're the defending national champions. They're undefeated in 1990. They're ranked #1. Their predominant color is orange. They are the Syracuse Orangemen.
Got to be Hobart.
Well, what do you mean?
Exact same idea, description, I guess, right?
Syracuse and Hobart, a lot of similarities, despite the fact, Dale, Syracuse is Division I, Hobart is Division III. You can toss that out because this is a rivalry that goes way back, and this is the one sport where I don't think the divisions really matter that much.
It really doesn't, and the Syracuse coaching staff is concerned some of the younger players might not understand the significance of the Hobart-Syracuse game because they're doing so well this year, but it goes back a long way. It's a very, very significant game, and they want to make sure that Syracuse is ready for Hobart because if anybody could beat them this year, it could be Hobart.
This is the 75th renewal of the series. Syracuse has blown away the likes of Johns Hopkins and North Carolina. They say there's no difference between Syracuse and those schools. It's Syracuse and everybody else, and Hobart is in that category, I guess, of everybody else until and unless they can narrow the gap and really give Syracuse a run.
Well, one of the problems is Syracuse is outscoring opponents 21-9, and they can take 60 or 70 shots a game. That's very, very difficult to defend against, and Syracuse plays a very up-tempo, fast game. So, but so does Hobart, so it should be an interesting matchup.
Yeah, that's Hobart's style as well. We haven't seen anybody jump to an early lead on Syracuse, but certainly with attackmen like Bill Miller of Hobart College, the Statesmen are capable of gaining an early lead.
Well, Miller's an excellent athlete, and the Syracuse coaching staff said, this guy's had some good luck against us. He scores some goals. We got to watch him defensively. So watch number 3, Bill Miller.
Pressure's going to be on Andrew Bender. He's a senior, but this is really his first year in the nets after Sean Trell's graduation.
He has played quite a bit this year, obviously. He's a starter and played last year, but it's going to be a real baptism under fire because he's never played against guys like the Gaits and Marichek and the likes of Syracuse.
Under fire is really... that's an understatement to what you face when you go against Syracuse with the Maricheks and with the Gaits. And a guy who really has been unsung this year for Syracuse on the attack has been Greg Burns.
Greg Burns is really getting hot, and if you're a coach, it's at the right time because he's really, really contributed a lot. He's been a great feeder, but he's had 12 goals in the last 3 games, and he's really, really a very good athlete. He's a big kid, 6 foot, 182 pounds. He can feed, he can score, and he moves very, very well with and without the ball.
And I guarantee you that's the only time you're going to see anybody sitting down in this game today because this is a game that should be up and down the artificial surface here of the Carrier Dome. It could be a high-scoring game. I wonder if Matt Palin will be challenged.
I think he will be challenged, but I think it's going to be a lot off the fast break, and both goalies better be ready for that because these teams like to run and gun.
One interesting person on the defense for Hobart that stands out in my mind, a player who's only 150 pounds, Greg Cosgrove. He's going to have to try to check some of those big boys for Syracuse in close.
We've seen some big guys from Syracuse able to push their way through people, but he's got to be able to poke check. They got to play finesse defense and hope that they can get their goals back on the other side.
Well, the crowd will be into it. Usually Hobart is very well represented here in the Carrier Dome. This is the 75th renewal, the Battle of the National Champions. We'll have it for you from start to finish when we return. And back in the Carrier Dome, another outstanding crowd on hand as Syracuse and Hobart get set to meet. This is the second half of a football lacrosse doubleheader in the Dome, and I think part of the crowd left after football. It's a whole new crowd here for lacrosse. Here are the current U.S. Intercollegiate Lacrosse Association standings for Division I. Syracuse only at 5-0. They just don't have that big of a schedule this year. Yale at 9-0. Mike Waldvogel doing a tremendous job there. Don Starsh's team at Brown 5-0. Then Loyola making an appearance in the top 5. North Carolina and an accustomed spot for Johns Hopkins 2-4. And in Division I, it is Hobart in their usual position atop the standings, undefeated, followed by Washington, RIT, and the other schools in Division III. We're getting set for the opening faceoff. Jacques Monti for the orange-shirted Hobart Statesmen, and Kirk Pratt for Syracuse. We're underway in the Carrier Dome. Pratt knocks the ball back toward the Syracuse goal that is being defended by Matt Palem. And here come the Orangemen. McCabe with it now, looking to give it up to a shorter stick. And he sends it back. It's played by Paul Gait. Paul Gait brings it across toward the attacking zone. Down the middle, he feeds the fake and the score immediately by Tom Marichek. And Syracuse gets on the scoreboard in 20 seconds, beating Andrew Bender, who was pushed back into his net.
Well, right from the face-off, Hobart had big sticks, and Cosgrove couldn't stay with Gait. He dumps it off to Marichek, and of course you can see for yourself he went high on the fake, and he brought Bender out, and the offside defenseman slid in, but it was really just a easy shot for Tom Marichek, goal number 1.
33 shots on the year, 15 goals. Monty wins the face. This now is Hobart in control of the ball. And the Statesmen will work it around from behind. Lance Savage is number 2. They'll look for Miller. And now they put it in the stick of Kurt Drury, number 9. He's got the knee brace on the left leg. Back it goes to Matt Kerwicks. Hobart's set up offense for the first time this afternoon. There's the first Hobart shot by Mike DiMaria, and the Statesmen will retain possession.
Tambroni, 18 on the backup. Attack man out of West Genesee. In fact, he's got the ball right now.
Back they go to Miller. DiMaria gets set in the middle. Here is Matt Kerwick. Giving it up now again. Savage. Miller's shot is a weak one, and it's played by Palem, who came out of the cage. Matt with a run up field, being pursued by Tambroni from behind. Here comes Palem. He scored a goal this year. Will he crank? He does, and a save is made by the opposite number, Andrew Bender. That brought the crowd to their feet early.
And he's pumped up. He's trying to get everybody else pumped up like they need it. Tom Rejo was the defender there who finally got on Palem and dumped him, but Matt, another shot.
Jim
not a
Egan
goal.
playing it from behind against Cosgrove. Burns scores. Greg Burns, the man we featured before the game, getting the pass from Jim Egan and beating Andrew Bender. It's now 2-0 Syracuse.
That's his 13th goal in 4 games. He had 12 previous to this. There's Egan, the attack man out of Yorktown, looking for an open man, and there he is. Burns, they slide over to pick him up, but Burns with a nice shot on the stick side. He beats Bender for goal number 2.
Tom Rio, the defenseman, a little bit late in that slide over against Burns, who had an open shot. We're a minute and a half into the game, and it's 2-0 Syracuse. Jacques Monti overruns it. In pursuit is Cosgrove with Monti, number 10. Pratt is there, 26, pops it in midair. He got crunched. Back comes Hobart in their transition game. That big stick there is Larry DiGiovanni, who loses it, and McCabe overruns it for the moment. Back to play it, the Statesman, 35 for Hobart, John Fogel. No possession either way for the moment. Drury trying to pull it down, or Miller and Savage are in there. Miller has it, checked out of his stick, picked up by Burns. Burns looking to feed, he goes up ahead, man in the middle. There's a pass in close, intended for Egan, by him, out of bounds, Hobart ball. That was Kirk Pratt in close. 2-0 Syracuse in the opening 2 minutes and 15 seconds of the game. Syracuse applying a ride as Burns took a swipe, and that caused the ball to come loose. Orangemen applying the full field pressure, and they take it away for the moment. Matt Moore, 33, with a hit on Drury. It comes loose into the stick of Egan. Intended down for Marichek, and Bender out to play it. Peter Bennett back to help him, 43.
Nice
Marichek checks it out.
That's wall-to-wall playing. Marichek all over, playing defense, offense. Gets the ball back, and he's going to take it as he took it out of that man's stick, Bender, the goalie, and there's Coach Roy Simmons Jr. on the sideline.
Marichek with Egan and Burns on the attack. The Gaits and Rodney Dumpson in the midfield. 2-0 Syracuse. So we talked about the possibility of somebody getting an early lead on Syracuse. It's not going to be Hobart.
Oh, Bennett.
Marichek saved by Bender. Couple of great fakes. Here's the outlet.
Oh, nice check.
Down he goes legally. Can Hobart retain possession? They can for the minute. And for the moment.
Barker, 40. High pass.
They throw it away, and Syracuse is going to get it back. Part of this big crowd, well in excess of 10,000. Paul Gait will start the play. Going back to Matt Palin, was already gone the length of the field and taking a shot. Palin in the middle to Pat McCabe. He got the signal from Gary Gait to move it across. Now Pat wants to give it to Gary and head back.
That lets Paul come over, and now Gary goes down the sideline.
Here is Gary in 1-on-1 territory. Bounce shot is wide, but Egan is closest to it. Syracuse will retain.
Just looking early, Dave, one-on-one matchups defensively. I think the Statesmen are a little disadvantaged. Syracuse a little bit better there offensively than their defensive people have been able to play them one-on-one so far.
You can see Syracuse has a pretty good size advantage over many of these Hobart players. Here is Gait against DiGiovanni. They set the pick for Dumpson, and he rips the cords.
That's a classic play, isn't it? Dumpson got in the crowd. They got the ball over on the right wing, and then Dumpson jumped out from the pack. He got the pass, and you'll see the result. Watch Gait. He's just waiting for Dumpson to jump, and he pops out. Watch him pop up there on the top. There he is. He's popped out, and everybody is waiting for the shot, and Bender not able to stop it.
Well,
would have been an almost impossible stop.
They did set the screen for the shooter, and Rodney Dumpson has Syracuse's third goal.
Faceoffs 2-1 in favor of Hobart. Syracuse had a little problem at Hofstra with faceoffs. They come up with one there. That evens it up at 2 apiece.
Dan Cahey, the long hair flowing out of the back of the helmet, racing it down for the angle. Rebound quickly to Brooke Chase, who's on early. He began his college career at Hobart. Syracuse out to the 3-0 lead. Bonacci coming on as Cahey makes the move to his left. Reverses to the right hand. Now back behind. Here is Chase coming unimpeded for the moment.
There's the small stick midi. Shot by Kramer.
Played back there again by Brooke Chase. He'll give it up now to Egan and use the pick set by Chase.
A moving pick.
Was that illegal?
Yep. Illegal pick.
What was illegal about it?
Well, it's kind of like in basketball. You can't move, and he was detected moving, and it was an illegal pick. You got to be set. You can't lean into him. They don't really call it a moving pick, but that's what I call it.
Hobart looking to get something generated. They nearly take it away from Bender. Burns is all over him.
He also tiptoed through the crease.
That's the second straight time that Burns has bothered the clear of Hobart. And I mean, he really has bothered them.
That's about the experience. You get a guy like Bender, who has really not probably had the likes of these guys. This, we said, is essentially his first year as a starter. He has played in other games, but very, very difficult. They're putting a lot of pressure on him, and he's going to have to get rid of the ball a little bit quicker.
Syracuse really challenging Hobart. They threw that one right on net. Palin played it. Now here comes Syracuse out of their own end. Eric Holbrook, 43, the defenseman, triggering the play.
There, good defense. by
Persing
Hobart.
had it. Now it's Paul Gait behind the back. He goes to the crease. They send it outside to Burns. And Greg rips the cords again.
What a shot.
That's enough for B.J. O'Hara and Hobart. They call a timeout with 9:24 to go in this first quarter. The Statesmen find themselves down 4-0. Watch this play go inside and then way out.
I thought actually they could have taken the shot from there, but he was going to feed Burns no matter what. And Burns doesn't disappoint him with a 20-yard left-handed shot. Wow, it was really something.
Man, they had that ball 5 yards away and sent it out about 20. And Greg Burns making us look like prophets as his second goal here in the first quarter.
Continues to be hot. That's goal 14 in 4 games. As we said, he had 12 coming in. And John Desko, one of the assistant coaches, got the chalkboard out there. What do you think he's saying, Dave? We got to get some more offense, or we got to play better defense? It's 4-0. But they're going to work on all these.
Talking with Pat McCabe there, so it's got to be defensive strategy, right?
Yeah. Might be clearing. Who knows?
Well, the last 2 weeks, Syracuse has been on the road winning on Long Island against Adelphi and Hobart, or I should say, who am I thinking of? CW Post?
Hofstra.
Hofstra, that's
right.
it. And they'll go on the road again in a couple of days after this to face Cornell. We'll have that one for you next Friday night in Central New York. As always, we'd love to hear from you, so send us a postcard if you're so inclined, a letter. Super Sports, Cook Cablevision, 500 South Salina Street, Syracuse, New York. The zip is 13202. Kirk Pratt, Jacques Monty again on the faceoff. You know, Syracuse on the year is less than 50% in winning faceoffs.
Pratt is above that. He's the regular, normal face-off guy, but you're right. As a team they get a little illegal procedure, somebody leaning or foot not in the right position, and Syracuse will lose that face-off via penalty.
Walt Munsey, the official there on the face. Dave Velopek with the ball now, racing against Dave Patain. Velopek behind. Savage looks for the cutter Miller, but they can't find him. Now Tambroni. They reverse it outside. 33 is James Patton. Hobart looking to get on the scoreboard. They're undefeated, ranked #1 in Division III lacrosse. We have yet to reach the midway point of the first quarter. Hobart is down 4-0.
Miller, by the way, is being guarded by McCabe.
Holbrook is all over Savage. He loses him for the moment. They feed it out to Patton, and Palin saves it.
Nice body save. Really, he went down. Patton took the shot, and Palin knew I don't think he could get the stick down fast enough, so he got the body down and rode it right up over the cage after it bounced off his chest. Nice save for Palin.
Matt Moore is coming on now for Syracuse. He replaces Gary Gait. Defensive midi substitution here. You can do that when the ball goes out of bounds on the sidelines. You get a horn that allows you now time to make that kind of substitution. If the ball goes across the end line, there is no horn. And here's Moore, the man who just replaced Gary Gait. Matt Moore moving on Patton. Moore going to the right hand, buying some time as he'll head to the bench after giving it up to Burns. Dan Cahey comes on. Now Ricky Kramer will come in. Syracuse running a second midfield out there now. Maracek with it.
You know, you look at that second midfield, they've been very, very productive. Cahey and the rest, and Freddie Amaya, who would have been playing midfield, out with a knee injury.
Now here's Burns working from behind. He's been very good this season one-on-one. He's got 2 goals already here in the first quarter. Here's Cahey with a fake. Kramer cuts to the net. Kramer reverses, comes back. Andrew Bolin makes the move. He goes to the left hand. It's knocked away. And Cosgrove redirecting to his goalie Bender. The outlet for Patton. He's got a couple of steps on Cahey, but Cahey gets back to take him off the play. Hobart really has not had a good shot on net yet. We're almost 8 minutes into this game. Hobart now sending on Terry Mulhern. He's got the ball. Mulhern starts his dodge. He goes by the Syracuse defender. That's Bolin. He pays the price. McCabe looking for it. He loses it. There's the feed. No, it's a shot and a score by Bill Miller. As he was being dropped, Miller got the goal, and that sets the Hobart crowd on their feet. as the Statesmen are on the board at the 7-minute mark of the first quarter.
Well, nice job. Defense, good dodge down. Kramer puts him down. Now it's a loose ball. Nobody controls it, and there Matt Palin was starting to slide, and you see number 3 Miller put it by for the first goal. Back
and
to
it's
the
a
face.
4-1 Syracuse lead now as Paul Gait wins the battle for the ground ball. Here is Paul racing it toward the box, giving it up into a crowd. A shot and a save by Bender. The rebound, and Egan was thinking goal, but the ball came out of his stick as he recoiled. Now Hobart looking to string together back-to-back goals. Playing a little more spunk now. They're on the scoreboard.
Big sticks
Passing the
down
ball
there.
well.
Had their big sticks. They may have to slow it down. No, nice move.
They're going toward the crease. Miller.
Oh, McCabe took it away from him. And again.
And Miller loses it this time. Behind the back. And upfield it goes to Gary Gait. Now he has it. Here he comes by Di Maria. Moving on Kerwick. Giving it up even with a goal. Maricek feeding Egan. You know, those smiles on the faces of the folks in the crowd really tell you they just can't believe what they just saw.
Maricek feeding Egan. Watch, this is Gait. Came down the left side. Now Maricek looking around, does a behind the back pass, and Bender, what can he do? Nothing. And Jimmy Egan in the right place at the right time. Very productive.
Superb feed by Tom Maricek, the master of the behind the back shot and feed. Syracuse wins the face. They look for a second quick goal. There's the cutter. Egan, score! No! Hit the crossbar, it came out. Rebound, save Bender. And Bender outlets it just to get it out of shooting range. Bill Tully running it down on the sideline. Syracuse ball.
They've taken, we talked about shots. I said Syracuse can take 60 or 70 shots on you. They've taken 13 to 6 for Hobart. Doubling the shot output, and they have been some good point-blank shots at that man right there who has got 6 saves.
Bolin, Kramer, Bonacci are on now. Egan has the ball. He nearly had back-to-back goals. Jim Egan will work from behind. Pick being set, a legal pick this time. Here's Egan, saved by Bender. Good job, Andrew Bender. The rebound to Bonacci.
Absolutely.
Joe Bonacci trying to settle it down for the moment, being ragged by the defender there, John Fogle.
You know, the second midfield has been productive for Syracuse offensively. You're going to see a shot here.
Ricky Kramer's shot is pulled down by Bender, who's starting to get a feel for it now in the nets. There comes Hobart out of there, breaking across without much trouble. Hobart looking to get into a settled offense now. Now working from behind with Lance Savage. Di Maria comes on, the midfielder. Savage checked away from him by Holbrook. Palin comes out. He's fair game out there. Nobody's in the nets to defend. So McCabe takes his time and he sends it upfield. John Winship, number 39.
Winship's
converge on him.
He's going to get some company. Yeah, absolutely, with that big stick.
Gives it up for Burns, and then they spot Bolin. Getting a lot of playing time early. Andrew Bolin carrying it behind.
Taylor defensively took a swipe at him. Number 40 on him now. That's
Brett
Barker.
Taylor. This is Bolin trying to draw the double and hit the open man. Outside it's Bonacci.
Oh,
Bonacci not
Di
going
Maria.
anywhere in Di Maria, is he? But he goes by him finally. The shot is deflected off the goalie. Syracuse will keep it.
nice move. But Syracuse retains possession. Good looking save by, I think you're right. I think that Bender's getting a little more comfortable in the nets.
Syracuse with 16 shots to just 4 by Hobart. But Bender piling up the saves now.
Well, that's what happens when they take a lot of shots at you. Sometimes that's deceiving. You say, this guy's got a lot of saves. We'll see how many shots Syracuse takes, as we
Action
said. 16
slowing
now.
down.
Yeah,
slowing down now with 3.5 to go in the first quarter.
They're going to run a little zone defense here, and Syracuse going to take the time.
Syracuse has essentially a box-type offense with Greg Burns in the middle out of your picture at the moment. Now they find the open man. There's Bender with another fine save. That's 10. Hobart gets it to Kerwick, and now they have unimpeded running room in the middle for Mike DiMaria, being pursued by Ricky Kramer from behind. He gives it up, even with a crease. Spin move, goal. Great job by the Statesman, and Bill Miller gets the goal.
Superb stick work and really good vision looking for the open man. DiMaria starts it off. He heads down the right. It was a fast break. They slide over to pick him up. He gets the ball away quickly. They popped it over to Monty, back over to Savage, and then he quickly pops it over to Miller, and Miller puts it down low as they took him up high. Great job by that man, Bill Miller, and a nice pass.
Miller has his second goal of the game. Here's Paul Gait. Paul Gait with a left hand giving it up to Egan. Egan feeding, intercepted in front. Good job by Hobart. But Paul Gait regains on the steal, and he throws it out of bounds.
The interception was done by Bennett, 43. You're right, it was a nice job. And I think that Hobart's had enough of this. Let's run with them. Let's slow things down a little bit when we get down here. Let's not let them do that. And Syracuse shot at 17.
That was a very rare bad pass by Paul Gait. I guess he intended it for somebody who wasn't there. He just kind of lofted it, and there was absolutely nobody in a white shirt in the vicinity. Lance Savage starting his move.
Oh.
And that's nearly intercepted. Good job by Patain to break up that play. The battle at midfield now. Who's going to come away? Somebody stepped
had
over.
Their foot on there. I think it was Syracuse. No, it was Hobart.
Terry Cullen with a call. B.J. O'Hara's first trip into the Carrier Dome as the head coach of Hobart. Syracuse ball. They lead it by a score of 5-2. Down to 2 minutes to go here in the first quarter. Rodney Dumpson has a goal. Starting his move, going left against Velopek. Low shot, and it finds its way. Second goal for Rodney Dumpson, and a 6-2 Syracuse lead.
Well, Velopek was on him, but really good stick work by Dumpson. Watch what happens. Dumpson's right-handed, goes down. There's Velopek, and now he dodges and comes back, stays with the right hand. He can't get stick on stick with him. A little bit of a job of blocking out the vision of Bender. Nice screen, and that gave Syracuse their 6th goal. See the face-off, Syracuse now up by 2, 5-3. Yeah, another little indiscretion here. Syracuse is going to be called, and they're going to give up the ball, so 5-4 now in the face-off department.
Minute 52 to go in the first quarter. Matt Kerwick moving on Gary Gait. Nice stop and go. Kurt Drury comes on now. Here is Drury feeding inside. It's taken away by the Orange. Drury throwing his body in there, dislodging the ball, and they're pursuing Persing now.
Persing, ooh, looked right up the middle.
Playing this year with a shorter stick. Here comes Gary Gait with a minute and a half to go in the first quarter. The Gaits have not scored yet. That one just missed the upper corner.
Well, Kerwick draped himself all over Gates' shooting arm and caused that shot to go wide to the left.
Well, in 4 years of the Gaits being on the scene, how many times has Syracuse gotten 6 goals in the first quarter without either one scoring?
Well, you know, that's what people say, you know, shut the Gates down. And you see right here, they haven't really taken a lot of shots. There's another one by Paul, but they've got a lot of talent. And guys like Burns and others come to the fore.
There's Egan now looking for the one-on-one move. Egan gives it to Paul against Kerwick. They changed direction. They tried to get it to Dumpson. Egan goes low and scores. Jim Egan gets his second goal in this first quarter, and Syracuse now has a 7-2 lead.
Well, they run kind of a zone defense, and it forces you to take the shots from out a little bit farther, and you don't get as much one-on-one. You see them knock the pass down right there. Hobart did a nice job. Now see him dropping back, trying to get their sticks up in the passing lanes, but when you can take that kind of a shot and can't get a stick on it, that's the kind of thing Bender's going to have to stop from that distance.
Egan is 2, Dumpson is 2, Burns is 2, Maricek has 1. 7-2, Syracuse leading. Now the loose ball, Gait throws his body pretty liberally there into Phil McCarthy. And Gary Gait comes up with the ball. Gary Gait leaves his man on the turf. He fires. Bender saves and gets his own rebound. So the Gaits may be blank, but Syracuse has 7 here in the first quarter. McCarthy again from behind. He gives it up just before Paulgate got there. Nice stop and go again by Bill Miller. McCabe will run him down from behind. This is a great matchup now. 2 All-Americans. And McCabe wins it that time.
He checked it with the bottom part of the stick.
Gil Martin, 44, plays for Syracuse. Tambroni tried to bother him. To the near side to Paulgate with 7 seconds to go in the quarter. Paul looks for the avenue, coming back to the right hand, to the left. Saved. Bender, rebound, saved, and that's the end of the first quarter.
Egan took a final shot, but the whistle will stop it. Syracuse ahead, 7-2.
Well, they kept the Gaits off the scoreboard, but Syracuse has 7, and they lead it, as Dale just told you, 7-2. We'll be back with our Super Sports coverage of Syracuse Hobart Lacrosse right after these words. Back with you in the Carrier Dome, Dave Cohen and Dale Drypulcher, our Super Sports coverage of Syracuse University Lacrosse. The Orangemen looking for their 3rd straight national championship. Hobart looking for their 11th in a row. Andrew Bender has certainly seen a lot of rubber coming his way in the first quarter of this game.
5 ounces of hard rubber. He's probably got 25 pounds of shots at him. Look at that, Dave. 24 shots. If it continues, that would be 96 shots. I told you, Syracuse take 60 or 70. But the pressure on Bender has been great. And, you know, no penalties in that first quarter, no time served penalties. Really made the quarter go by quickly.
Yeah, despite the 9 goals, very few stoppages in play.
A couple of technicals on the faceoffs. Cahey going to try to get in.
Yeah, knocked away from him and taken down by Hobart. Kerwick from behind has it checked away by Jim Egan, who can't find the ball. It goes back to Kerwick. It's a lucky spin for him. Fogel losing it.
Uh-oh.
And now it is Lance Savage trying to regain his balance. Picked up by Kerwick. Leaving now for Savage. He goes behind. Di Maria coming on now. And Lance Savage will go his way. Drury legging it onto the field, pursued there by David Patain. Syracuse has a 7-2 lead. Here's Lance Savage. The offense gets a lot of credit for Syracuse's success, but that defense at times has been just stifling opponents, suffocating them.
And not only do they do that, when the ball goes down on a ground ball, they'll start a fast break by coming up with an almost unbelievable ground ball.
There's a nice pass in close, and Drury with that turnaround shot.
As we speak about the defense, Drury able to get a nice move in there. That's a real awful looking brace on that left knee, but nice job. But there he is right there. There's Drury. Now they're going to try to get the ball to him. That's Kerwick. He gets doubled and he dumps the ball off, and then he just turns and fires.
Yeah, the man who was fronting Drury came up to double team.
Well, that's one of those vision things. When you see that or sense it, then your first instinct, your coach, is to find the open man, get rid of it, and get the open guy.
Legal procedure on the faceoff. Syracuse gets it back, and it's going to be in the stick of Gary Gait. Keep an eye on Gary Gait. Don't turn your back on him as he feeds it in close. Burns tried the backhanded low shot.
Burns getting hot, as we said, as this season has progressed. 14 goals in the last 4 games. Penalty now. Flag down.
It's a delayed call. Maricek had his shot saved by Bender.
Referee Tom Abbott's going to call a procedure. I think it was a substitution problem, and that will be a 30-second penalty. So this will be the first man up for either team, and Syracuse man up team will trot on the field to see if they can get it by. Andrew Bender, number 12, who's really been active in the save department, has 14 so far in this young lacrosse game.
Dale, as I scan the rosters of both Hobart and Syracuse, this may be the first time in a long time that when you look at the high school players from this area, there are more Jamesville, DeWitt, Fayetteville, Manlius products and Baldwinsville people than West Genesee's.
You get an ebb and flow, I think, like that. I think people from Syracuse just assumed that everybody from West Genesee would end up at Syracuse, but As I've said before, it's nice to be able to get out and see the rest of the world, and some of them have done it, and some of them have come here. So,
because there are a lot of West Genesees now down south.
Right. You're talking Maryland and Naval Academy and teams like that. And Syracuse right now is going to take a timeout.
Yeah, with this man-up situation, I guess they didn't like the way things were transpiring. So with 13:03 to go here in the second quarter, Syracuse takes time, leading at 7-3.
Coach Simmons work with the midfield, the offensive guys, and they break up into two other groups. One with John Desko.
Only two schools have ever won here in the Dome, Cortland and Cornell.
That's forever going to be, I think, a trivia question, as teams like Cortland are no longer playing Syracuse, at least in the foreseeable future. They have very few really games this year. You saw, Dave, on the record, some teams have, Yale, I believe, 9 games, Syracuse into their 5th or 6th. We've had some great games here. I was talking to the coaches beforehand, and they said, do you remember playing up at Hobart when they used to throw the fish at the Syracuse coaches? And it's always been an exciting series. Of course, with Dave Urick on now, B.J. O'Hara there, it's a little different, but they said even though it's different, things remain the same as they are atop the Division III poll. Matt Palem, who is a sort of a West Genesee, Jamesville DeWitt product.
He went to both. There's a goal by Gary Gaits. Syracuse's all-time leading goal scorer has just picked up his first of the game. Was it Gary or was it Paul?
I think it was Paul. Was it 19? Well, I'll check it out. It happened so fast. Caught me looking at something. Oh, that's Gary.
Yeah, it was Gary.
Yep.
We just happened to get a shot of Paul afterwards.
Number 22. There he is.
So the Syracuse lead now goes to 8-3. 167 career goals by Gary Gaits.
Look at Pratt down there doing the scuffle.
McCarthy comes up with it, and he feeds Miller, who's got a pair of goals. From behind, Jacques Monti. Velopek, Patton coming on. Along with Terry Mulhern.
Just checking the stats, Dave, as they work for a shot. Hobart's only taken 6 shots.
Well, they've done fairly well. They've got 3 goals in those 6 shots.
Oh,
and
nice.
A nice one by Velopek, and Palem just have to anticipate well, because he was in the perfect position to stop that shot.
Well, we did a little halftime piece with him, as you did a great halftime piece with him. He tells you that you've got to be able to shuffle and move, and a lot of it is people think you're just standing there. It's really very, very disciplined, and you have to move, and you got to be in the right place and have a feel for it also.
Now let's see what Hobart cooks up here. Mulhern, Miller against McCabe. Tried to hit the cutter, but it went behind him. Can Hobart keep it in bounds? They cannot. Syracuse is going to get it.
Checking Syracuse, getting some people in. They play a lot of people, both defensively and offensively.
Again, as the ball rolled out of bounds, you heard the horn allowing the teams to make personnel changes. Dan Cahey will put the ball in play, and he passes it down the sideline. And here's the move, the shot, and the rebound, Maricek. Just minding his business on the weak side. And when the ball popped loose, he just tapped it right in. That was a gimme.
Got to give him a 3-piece suit and a briefcase, just like he's riding the subway home. And he's all business, though. Get the ball down on the ground. There's the shot, down, rebound, and watch Maricek. Just doing what I'm supposed to.
His teammates call him Hollywood. Maricek with 2 goals in the game.
Part of the Canadian connection and the big Canadian flag here in the Dome. Respectful of all the Canadian athletes that have come here to play football and lacrosse and basketball. That's his 2nd goal today.
4 players now with 2 goals apiece. Here's Cahey, and none of them are named Gate. 9-3. 11:44 to go here in the first half. Cahey making his move with a left hand against Fogel. Syracuse will keep it because Egan and Burns were closest to it as it went out of bounds. Marichek has it. He had that gorgeous assist earlier with a behind-the-back pass to Egan. There it is again. And that shot is just high. Burns, looking for the hat trick, took the shot.
Burns able to get off a nice hard shot, but a little bit high, and Bender with it.
Egan finding Kramer. Kramer's really gotten much stronger too. When he makes a run toward the cage, it looks like one of the Gaits.
Oh.
Joe Bonacci put Syracuse in double figures. It is 10-3.
Vogel there defensively, but Bonacci, look, a dodge, doubled, and not able to get on the stick. The problem is when those guys dodge and they beat you, it's not so much they beat your body. You got to be able to try to get at least the stick on the stick and change the shot, or at least try to alter it. But Bonacci's so strong, he pumped in Syracuse's 10th with 11:07 left to go.
Goal number 7 on the year for Joe Bonacci. Pratt and Monty on the faceoff. Syracuse leading at 10-3. Look at Gary Gaits' strength from there. Paul Gait comes out of it with the ball. Monty took it away from him. Hobart throws it away over Di Maria's head. Overrun by Syracuse. Now the Orange, who are dressed in white, get it back. Paul Gait's going to pick it up. He's got some operating room from that wing. Crossfield, he goes to Burns. And there it is. Greg Burns gets goal number 3. He's the high scorer in the game.
Rejo, 34, is the closest guy. Watch, see how Burns got his stick up, nobody on him, and Rejo is sliding, but Burns able to take a couple of steps and pick up number 3 for himself and number 11 for Syracuse.
That's going to bring another timeout from Hobart's B.J. O'Hara with 10:33 to go in the first half. It's all Syracuse, 11-3.
I had a question I was going to ask. You know, with the NFL draft coming up, you wonder down around the 10th round or so when they're taking shot putters and hurlers and basketball players, somebody might not look at the Gaits. Good athletes, good size, fullback types. It'd be interesting. I'm sure they've wasted draft choices on less promising athletes.
Yeah, that is interesting. And here's something that may interest a few of you. The Syracuse Sportscasting Academy being held in conjunction with the Syracuse University's summer sessions. If you're interested, there's the number. And, you'll receive a brochure and further information. Look at what Roy Simmons is saying there. A little animated discussion for him.
I was looking at the Gaits again on the roster, their size. Both of them at 6'2". Gary at 197 and Paul at 205.
That, by the way, is the Hobart crowd.
So anybody out there who's in the NFL, take a look at one of those two guys, or both of them.
I don't think they had football at their school in British Columbia.
No, I don't think so, and they played in the box. They certainly are tough enough.
And here is Paul Gait making the move on McCarthy. What a change of direction. At least he stopped on a dime and then unleashed the shot.
I wonder if they've ever been timed in the 40. That would be interesting. I'd like to see that.
You know those football guys, though, if you can't feed the info in the computer,
that's right.
You don't want to touch it. This is Brooke Chase on again. I think I like what the NBA does. 2 rounds in the draft and everybody else is a free agent.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a goal by Rodney Dumpson, I
thought
believe.
It was on the outside for a second. Well, I'll tell you.
That looked like a hook shot.
Yeah.
Going away from the basket.
It sure did, and I think it's got Andrew Bender a little upset with himself. But let's check. Yeah, up over the inside shoulder, Dave.
Did that one get in on the inside, the upper
left?
Yes,
I'm pretty sure. Maybe we can look at it again. Dumpson picks up number 3 and number 12 for Syracuse, but it looked to me like it went on the inside shoulder, and he jumped up and made himself as big as he could in that 36 square feet, but it wasn't enough.
Gil Martin taking the face for Syracuse as McCarthy of Hobart comes up with it. The Statesmen are down 12-3. This is Bill Miller. This could be a very long afternoon for Hobart. Sure it is already.
Well, you know, that's the thing, and they are very successful Division III, as we said, #1 coming in. But you know, Syracuse has done this to some mighty fine teams in Division I. Carolina and Hopkins come to mind.
If there's a difference in this Hobart team compared to some of the past, they used to have some big defensive people. Remember?
Yeah.
Arkinson, was it?
Oh yeah, Devin Arkerson, and this is a team that's going to take a little while. He's got some talented people, but he's got a tough road to hoe against Syracuse. Obviously, he's doing a good job.
Couldn't find an avenue against that defense. Here's Tambroni, and the crowd now is responding to the defensive stance.
Well, they're playing very well, and with the new
Patton,
rule,
nice check and taken away. And the Orange are hustling to every ground ball and winning it here. Hobart gets it back. Mulhern giving it up. Gary Gait pops it into midair. Regained by Lance Savage. Savage goes to Patton. Mishandles and regains. Tambroni had some room. Gets it back.
Oh.
Couldn't go in front, so he tries it from behind, feeding up top. Screenshot save. Matt Palem.
Palem did that kind of matter-of-factly, too.
Well, Palem coming out, drawing a double team, now giving it up. Not played, though, by Gary Gait. Hobart has it. Bill Miller will slow it down. They're going to send Mulhern on now, number 36. He gets it. Here again is Miller. We're down to 7:50 to go in the second quarter. Syracuse leading at 12-3.
Huh. They're doing some running out there, trying to tire Gary Gait out. James Patton back and forth, trying to run the legs off of number 22.
Maybe
right
the
there.
Hobart strategy is to win this one late. Drury with a nice feed to Kerwick, and he just missed. And
in essence, an open goal.
Yeah. Missed at point blank range.
Now Matt came out, but left it open.
Here's the feed in close. And Syracuse is going to get this one. Nobody was behind for Hobart.
I guess Syracuse said they don't want a timeout, and now they're going to take a timeout.
John Desko was saying no, and then Roy Simmons said yes, let's take the timeout.
Well, they got 7:21 left in the half, and they have a timeout to burn, so to speak. And
12-3 is the score, with Syracuse comfortably in front.
Great crowd, Dave.
There's that last sequence with Drury getting the ball to Kerwick, and look how close he is and how open.
Yep, Matt was out, kind of caught between hitting him and playing the ball, and he got the shot up quickly, but he missed that whole left side. Matt's left side, his right side.
Does anybody know the name of that song?
I don't.
That song used to be used in the movies for the previews coming up, right? In the movie theaters?
That's right. And the popcorn would roll out.
That's it.
Yeah.
Never knew the name of that song.
I got one more thought on the Gaits, Canadian Football League. There to go. Because there's not a lot of money in professional lacrosse.
Or the CFL, from what I'm told.
Well,
Ricky Kramer at midfield. Speaking of football, coming up at halftime, we'll have some of the outstanding plays of the Syracuse spring football game. And you will see the much talked about Marvin Graves in action. See why everybody's talking. Syracuse feeding the crease. Couple of fakes. Where's the ball?
back in the goal. He's got it out.
Yeah. Back the other way we come. Kramer applying pressure. The Orangemen lead at 12-3. The Orangemen are wearing white. The team in orange is Hobart. Dave Cohen and Dale Drypolcher with you in the Carrier Dome. We'll be on the road at Cornell in a couple of days. One more game in the Dome this season. That's the University of Massachusetts on Sunday, May 6th. That game will be played 2 hours after graduation. So you know the announcement at the end of graduation will be, attention, attention. The Dome is being converted. Take your diploma and get up to your seats.
That's right. You know, I was talking to some of the Syracuse coaches, and Massachusetts was beaten by Hobart out in California in a tournament. I wonder whether Sonoma actually has a lacrosse team. There's a tournament out there, and they beat University of Massachusetts. Right now, they're down by 9.
Jacques Monti on the move, looking to give it up, and he does. That's Dave Pagoda. Puts in the stick there of Lance Savage with Cahey on him. Kind of the wind has been taken out of the crowd's sail here. A little bit lackluster the last few minutes. And there's a flag that gets some kind of vocal response from the crowd.
Syracuse is putting some people in on defense as we see Walt Munsey make the call on a 30-second hold. Cahey on Savage. And there it was. So Syracuse will be man down. Be man up. First attempt by Hobart.
30-second holding. 30-second holding have been called on Syracuse. Number 30.
It's been a while in this game since Hobart has scored. About 8 minutes. It was 6-2 after 1. It's now a 12-3 Syracuse lead. Kerwick, DiMaria, Kerwick, Drury behind his back. And there's the goal by Hobart. And it's Lance Savage who scores for the Statesman.
1-for-1 and man up. Matt Palem not able to track that one down high as he talks to some of his defensemen. Watch, it was behind the back. He got a couple of steps, not able to tried to get stick on stick. I think that was Winship, and it went high, and Matt Palem not able to stop that. Shot number 11 for the Statesman and goal number 4.
And on the year for Lance Savage, that is his 14th goal. He trails Bill Miller in the goal department. He's tied with Mike DiMaria. Actually trails DiMaria as well. There's Gary Gait coming up with a loose ball, feeding it to Burns, who's got 3 goals. He backs off, gives it to Paul.
We're going to make some changes here as Paul Gait takes a little one-on-one with Giovanni, I should say.
Lance Savage, who got that last goal, is out of Reading, Vermont. Not too many lacrosse players from Vermont. Syracuse with Burns and Egan on the move from behind with 5 minutes to go in the half. Syracuse with 12 goals, but only one by a guy named Gait. Rather deliberate offense, and the Orangemen throw it away.
Burns not able to control that, put it where he wants, a little upset with himself.
Did you notice, by the way, as you can see in the uniforms, the football-like satiny look?
I like it.
Kyle Federley, the equipment man, very proud of those uniforms.
Terrific looking.
Much deserved by a 2-time national championship team. Of course, Hobart has won 10 in a row.
Yep. You know, they're talking in the papers about a future Georgetown-Syracuse matchup. Dave Urick, the man who won those 10 national championships at Georgetown.
Well, they're talking about a Big East lacrosse league.
Yeah, that would be interesting too. It'd be a while before you could schedule a lot of Big East games in lacrosse. You want to keep Hopkins and North Carolina. Oh,
Miller lost
nice
the handle.
shot by McCabe. Good check, I should say, by McCabe as he really got on Miller. And, you know, McCabe, we're not looking at McCabe now, but that's Holbrook. But McCabe is an excellent defenseman. I think one of the, obviously the best in the country. He's an All-American. And we're going to see now an end zone look at this clear. Eric Holbrook, 43 on the right wing as Matt Palem comes up.
He's looking at Tambroni directly in front of him. Now goes to the near side, and we get a whistle. Procedure call
against Syracuse.
The man who blew the whistle was about 50 yards away, Terry Cullen.
I guess the defenseman, one of the defensemen was off the field and didn't come on, perhaps in time. You can't try to hide off the field and then jump out. So
12-4, Syracuse leading. We've got 4 minutes to go in the first half. Jeff Tambroni, checked by Rob Person. Playing this year with a smaller stick. He's being double teamed, right?
Oh, they're going to call a penalty on him. I believe it's Holbrook they're going to call a penalty on, but we'll see. Right now it is pursing on Tambroni.
Hobart does not want to waste this free situation here. They want to get a good shot. The ball is active until it hits the ground or is saved like that. And now the play will stop.
See what they're going to get, a slash. Got to be a slash. Couldn't be a hold.
It'll be a time serve penalty.
Yeah, it's a slash. He just kind of reached over and gave him a smack, Urick Holbrook. And Holbrook is going to sit down for a minute.
Syracuse has taken 34 shots in the game to 13 by Hobart.
Watch Holbrook trying to double team and still play man-to-man defense. Yeah, I think they let him go with the first one, but the second one caught him on the shoulder. They said, Urick, take a minute.
So Hobart cranks it up again. They scored earlier in the man-up situation. Mike DiMaria has been held in check, number 22. Tambroni is the feeder from behind.
Second man-up opportunity. They're 0 for 1. Nice defense by Syracuse.
Urick, Tambroni, Miller, Savage comes in, got the pipe. Urick rebound, deflected out at the point. Hobart a third shot, saved by Palem.
Body
and maybe
save.
a fourth. DiMaria's shot saved by Palem. And where's the ball now? It's down, and Palem is out there battling his way for it, and the flag flies.
That was great for Matt Palem. He just said, they're not going to score. Give us a flag, but they're not scoring on that one. He must have made 3 saves. Must have pushed. Somebody got pushed, but watch. Here it is. Shot, save, ball rebounds. Shot, save, ball down. Shot, save, ball down. Shot, save, ball down. Shot, save.
Tambroni's foot was in the crease, and that was the call that eventually stopped it. And we showed you that at real speed to let you know just how quickly that all transpired.
It must have been against Syracuse. He must have been pushed because it's their ball back.
Here they are again battling, and Palem comes up with it.
There were 5 saves in that little flurry there. 4. Right quick.
Matt may remember that as one of the highlights of his career.
That was great. Lots of action.
Sure was. Now a blindside hit put on Gary Gait, and they just bounced right off of him. Boy, does that tell you something about his strength and balance?
It's like a fullback.
His pass is deflected. I thought he earned a shot that time.
Underhand, ball down, other
Hit
way.
the stick of Drury. The crowd liked that effort, however. I don't know if we can get a replay of that blindside hit made on Gary Gait, but to see somebody bounce off of him really impressed me.
This is Paul, slash.
Score! They did not throw a flag. Maybe they didn't have time to. Paul Gait gets the goal. And that's his first of the game, so the brothers have 1 apiece, and Syracuse leads it 13-4.
There's Paul Gait. He just starts a sprint. He goes right by DiMaria. DiMaria's going to get him with a stick, but it happens so fast, and he's moving so fast. A left-handed shot makes it 13-4.
I still want to see the guy who ricocheted off of Gary Gait.
Yeah.
Game with about 2 minutes to go in the second quarter. Kirk Pratt on the face, giving it up to Burns, who's got the hat trick in this first half. Sweep check from behind, a little bit too late. Here comes Hobart with the ball, and a minute and a half to go. They get it down toward the box, and they work from behind. Jeff Tambroni.
Oh, another penalty.
Being bothered there by McCabe, is it? And here's a shot a little bit too high. Be man up again for Hobart.
Slash, a little high on the check, so they're going to have Syracuse down 1 man, 1 minute. Let's see, there it was, up high. That was on Winship, John Winship, 39. So they will be down, and this will be the 3rd man-up opportunity for Hobart. The last time they were down here, that flurry of activity got everybody excited. Matt Palem brought them to their feet.
Hobart, as you saw, has been successful in 1 of 2 prior man-up situations. That young lady you see on the field has the official time clock. That's why she is trailing one of the officials. Urick giving it up behind the back from Drury to Savage. Kurt Drury is a Canadian, so obviously he's learned that shot in the box. Taken away nicely by the Syracuse defense.
Holbrook. Nice job. Oh, he loses it momentarily, but I think he was pushed.
No hard feelings.
No, just doing my job, Bill Miller says.
Todd Stratton, number 31, was the man who intercepted that pass to break up the original play. Stratton's played well in the last couple of minutes.
He has, and Syracuse was called for touching the ball with their hand, I think. So it'll remain Hobart's ball, still man up.
And 35 seconds to go in the half. Syracuse leading at 13-4. Matt Urick from outside.
Oh, save.
Rebound. Di Maria still with it. He wants to go low.
Another
Palin
save.
saved them both. Oh, who went down? Miller went down.
Oh,
Looked like he got a stick right
again.
under the neck to lift him off the ground.
Is that Stratton, I think? Yeah. Unnecessary roughness. There it is.
That's the first.
There he gets pushed out. He works nice move by Di Maria. Ball down right there. Palin right there. But Stratton was called for unnecessary roughness right
Stratton
there.
with the check and then the stick under the chin.
Excuse me while I get upfield here. Oh, I see you're in the way. I think I'll just hit you in the neck.
So we've got 22 seconds to go. Hobart would like to end this half by scoring.
They're 2 men down here for, I don't know. Now they're not. Now they're only 1 man down. They were 2 men down for a couple of seconds.
And we're down now to 10 seconds to go. They can, of course, hold it, right, and begin the third quarter with a man-up situation.
I think they're going to. They're certainly not working to get a shot.
So when we resume play at the beginning of the second half, Hobart will still have the man-up situation. But for now, that is the end of the first half, with the Division I defending national champions, Syracuse leading the Division III champions, Hobart, 13-4. We'll be back with our look at the Syracuse spring football game and the Cora's halftime highlights in just a couple of moments. And welcome back to halftime of the Syracuse-Hobart lacrosse game. Before this game, there was the annual Syracuse spring football game. The orange team against the white team. In actuality, it's the blue team against the white team in terms of jersey colors. And a lot of people showed up today, I think, curious to see Marvin Graves, and he certainly did not disappoint the Syracuse football fans in the spring game, Dale.
A lot of people looking to see whether that young man as a redshirt freshman can possibly start. Still have Mark McDonald to contend with, and I thought he played very well also. So I think the question's still up in the air, but Graves, no doubt, an exciting player.
We should point out that McDonald was the guy that we brought up a couple of years ago, maybe 3 years ago, as the person that we thought was most impressive in the spring football game. And to that point, very few people had heard of him. Lo and behold, he becomes a starter on occasion last year and an ace reliever out of the pen to pull out the Peach Bowl for Syracuse. But now he's really going to be pressed by Marvin Graves, who looks like, I think you'll agree, the second coming of Don McPherson. Let's take a look at some of the highlights from the Syracuse spring football game 1990 version. And here it is on the very first play. Graves will give it to Rob Carpenter, the former quarterback.
One of the things that they can do in this game is the kids make up a lot of their own plays. A little razzle-dazzle here, and he throws it back to Graves. And the thing about Graves, watch the move he makes on the goal line. Sets up the defender, and that's the athletic ability that's got everybody excited, Dave.
Hey, where's Bill Hurley's old number 5, but he certainly plays like Don McPherson. Those are two mighty fine quarterbacks to emulate. Now, here is Mark McDonald, and he'll find Shelby Hill on a long 60-yard-plus pass play. People
were worried about the receiver core, some things happening, but Shelby Hill, a redshirt freshman, I thought looked very, very good, along with Antonio Johnson, number 80, who we'll see later. So the receivers look to be in good shape. It was a spring game that featured essentially passing. There wasn't too much in the way of spectacular running. Here's McDonald on a tip ball, and there's Shelby Hill again. Shelby Hill, good concentration, got the ball, and as I said, one of those receivers that I think people are going to be seeing a lot of. This is not a completion, but watch the arm and the accuracy here of Marvin Graves going deep for Antonio Johnson. Antonio Johnson, one of those redshirt freshmen, just out of his grasp. If it was during the season, he would have gone in the air for it. Those two did have a 50-yard touchdown pass earlier in the game that was quite spectacular. Here again is Graves on the drop back. Graves looking very much like Donnie McPherson. once again to Carpenter, and Carpenter, it was a known quantity coming into this scrimmage.
And he drilled that ball to the sideline.
A lot of zip.
Now here's a good defensive play coming up by Troy Martin. Double coverage against McDonald going deep.
One of the things that was exciting, Troy Martin able to pick this one off, but the ball was up in the air a lot more than I can ever remember in any scrimmage. It was really exciting. I think the fans enjoyed that aspect of it.
Once again there, the intended receiver was Shelby Hill. So Syracuse has demonstrated, I think, throughout the 80s, and now we see as we go into the 90s, a dramatic improvement in their ability to throw the football and catch the football. And remember how many years early in the 80s when teams would come into the Dome and beat Syracuse with the ideal conditions? It doesn't happen anymore.
Absolutely. Now Syracuse has got that ability. They got some great athletes in all positions with an experienced offensive line coming back. I think people are very, very excited about next football season because it's an exciting brand of football also.
And it's all going to begin at the end of August as Syracuse plays USC in the kickoff classic of the Meadowlands. Then we have a whole season of football to look forward to, and we'll be covering those games for you again this year on many of these same Super Sports cable systems and stations. So we hope you'll join us then. We hope you'll stay with us as we come back with more of Halftime. Syracuse Hobart Lacrosse in a moment. And we're back with you in the Carrier Dome at the half of the Hobart-Syracuse lacrosse game. There's your score. Syracuse leading Hobart 13-4. Dave Cohen along with Dale Drypolcher. We saw some great football plays, and now the Coors halftime highlights will bring you some great lacrosse action. This game started very quickly in Syracuse's favor, just 20 seconds into the game. The Orangemen got on the scoreboard, and they jumped to a quick 4-0 lead on the Statesmen of Hobart.
One of the things, they've taken a lot of shots, and they're taking good shots, and that's what's going to happen. They're on the way to a 70-shot afternoon.
Syracuse got their first goal, as we said, just 20 seconds into the game as they won the opening face-off, quickly worked the ball down, and Jim Egan handles it from behind.
Jim Egan, one of the captains, looking to feed, dishes it off. And Burns, who has been hot, takes a left-handed shot and gets it by Bender. Goal number 1.
Burns had 2 of the first 4 Syracuse goals. They jumped to the 4-0 lead. Now here is Bill Miller getting into the action a little bit late here in the unsettled situation.
Ball was down, swiping at it. Unsettled situation. He puts it down low, and Matt Palin not able to get a stick on it. Good goal for the Statesman.
That's why he's the attackman of the year in Division III last year. Here's the prettiest goal of the game. Maricek faking, going behind his back, finding Egan.
There's Egan, and he pumped it right by.
Syracuse went through the entire first quarter without either of the Gaits getting a goal, but they still had a 6-2 lead. Here's Rodney Dumpson taking what looked like a hook shot, and somehow it got in there.
Well, you know, it was even unbelievable to Andrew Bender as it went over his left shoulder. In the stats, there's the shots, 35-19. Saves pretty even, but Bender's had a lot of action. Face-off, Syracuse on top there at 13-6. Everything else kind of speaks for itself, but man-up goals, Syracuse not the beneficiaries that much of man-up situations.
That first quarter was totally penalty-free. Hobart scored in their first man-up situation, but that was it. The defense shut them down after that. We'll be back with the second half of today's game right after these words. Now the third quarter begins. Hobart has possession in the man-up situation as a result of a couple of Syracuse penalties near the end of the second quarter. The Orangemen are leading the Statesmen 13-4. Dave Cohen along with Dale Drypolcher. Hobart is in orange, the dark jerseys. Drury now to Savage. Back to Savage. Kurt Drury. Drury feeding to the opposite wing. Hobart wants to get a good shot. They haven't taken one yet. Savage feeding Tambroni, and the save is made by Matt Palin. Coming out of there with it now is Holbrook. Back he goes to Palin. Matt has been masterful right from the start. He came up the field early in the game, the length of the field, took a shot, and it was saved by his opposite number, Andrew Bender. Syracuse looking to gain the upper hand here early in the third quarter. They scored the first 4 goals of this game. A triple team for a moment against Maricek was so clever.
I was going to say, it's just a matter of time before he gets a penalty. That was Di Maria on him, just hacking in a hewing there on him, kind of like a lumberjack. Took a couple of chips out of his arm. No, it was it's really tough. He tried to get the stick, and he takes it away, and Maricek
Penalty time, Hobart, 1 minute.
able to get a slash called. So Syracuse will be man up, and Syracuse's second opportunity.
By the way, on Wednesday, Hobart is back home to face Nazareth. Syracuse Wednesday night, a 7 p.m. game, will be at Cornell. We'll have that one for you on Friday night. Kind of a down year for Cornell. Intended for Maricek, taken away for the moment by Hobart. Winship, McCabe, 29-39. And again, it's pulled down by the statesman Larry DiGiovanni, getting it up ahead. Intended for John Vogel.
Just got possession.
Vogel has it.
Did he get it in the box yet? Yep, now they release, so they'll be even.
We're 2 minutes into the third quarter. Syracuse leading at 13-4. Dumpson defending here against Bill Miller. Great matchup. They double team him as Palem came out, and it worked.
Procedure withholding, put the hand on the ball, covering the ball, withholding it from play. That'll be a Syracuse ball. Nice play by Palem as he, as you said, Dave, came out and he caused Tambroni to withhold the ball from play.
You know, that double team with the goalie decides to come out really changes the balance of power drastically.
Yeah, you never figure he's going to do anything. Look at, I love McCabe. Watch with the low stick. You're going to get double teamed.
He plays keep away and then gives it up beautifully to Greg Burns.
He knows just when to get rid of it. Super defenseman.
Now Syracuse making some changes, settling into their offense. Dumpson loses the handle, gets it back up, kept his composure, feeds in the middle, but it's taken away nicely by Peter Bennett.
Kind of
regained though by Egan, but they dribble it away from him. Burns comes down with a loose ball. He loses it. And now there's Maricek swiping it off of somebody, and it's pulled down again by Tommy Riho. Nobody with possession at this point in the game. Gary Gait has it now.
McCabe kept it alive. He tapped it over away from Miller.
Gait with a change of direction on Di Giovanni. Tommy Maricek, played by Bennett. Syracuse sets up a picket fence in the crease.
Look at that stick. Bennett trying to pry it out. Oh,
there's a high bouncing shot that the goalie Bender just got a piece of.
You know, you talk about the skills, Maricek from that Canadian box league, just tremendous stick skills, and you just can't get a stick on his stick.
Gary Gait being contained for the moment. Off the head, I think, of Bender. Syracuse will regain it.
Good hustle by Egan there as Di Maria went over, but Bender right there has had 37 shots taken at him.
Here comes Jim Egan against Cosgrove, that undersized defenseman. Egan wants to work on him, doesn't he? Burns off the screen. He has his fourth goal. They scream for the shooter again, and Burns just fired it by Bender, who had no idea.
Just worked it from another side that time, but you know, it's a classic basketball type play, and you watch, they set up. Here's the screen. Now watch him pop out. Now who's with him? Uh-oh, 34 turns around and says, uh-oh, I should have made my move, and that was Rayo. And Burns comes up with number 4.
He's within one of his career high for goals in a game. Greg Burns.
15 goals in the last 4 games, including this as the 4th.
Burns now has 19 goals on the year. He's second only to Gary Gait. Dan Cahey. Syracuse is a 14-4 lead. And the whistle stops the play.
That's Cahey. There's the there's the hit by Kirk Pratt.
Now play back in. Jim Egan has it for the moment. Bender was out of the cage. Here comes Egan. He's triple teamed, tried to give it up. It's loose in front. Maricek behind his back. Intended for Matt Moore. Syracuse may get it again as Egan loses it for the moment. Moore is pursuing it. Kicking it toward the end line. Moore still there. And he rakes it over to Burns. Here's Greg Burns, a former quarterback at Janesville DeWitt. trying to feed Egan, but it's stolen away by Hobart. Matt Kerwick on the full field run. Slows down and goes to the middle of the field to Velopek with Patton in the middle. Here's his shot. Palin makes the save and gathers it in and outlets it quickly. Off the stick of Patain, rolling toward Hobart, and they'll regain possession. Now here comes Lance Savage. He's got 1 goal in the game. He goes back to Patton to the right wing. Syracuse leading at 14-4. Mulhern now to Savage, and from behind it's Jeff Tambroni. Matt Moore will defend on him. Palin sets himself, and he makes the save beautifully, and Hobart will retain possession, unless of course you have a flag.
The unnecessary roughness, I think. That's going to cost him a minute.
Matt Moore, the guilty man. 10 minutes to go here in the 3rd quarter. Syracuse leading Hobart 14-4. Of course, earlier today, Syracuse had their annual spring football game to close out the 1990 spring football practice, and it was a highly entertaining game. And we're going to be joined here in a matter of moments by Syracuse head coach Dick McPherson with some of his sage comments on what has taken part today and during the spring. For the moment, Hobart with a man-up situation. They've scored 1 of 4 in the game. Again, this is Miller turning into the feeder now. They work it in close, and there's the score. Matt Kerwick gets the goal for Hobart, and they succeed in the man-up situation. It's 14-5 Syracuse.
Difficult situation for Syracuse, being man down, and a nice feed. You see how fast they got it out there. There's the 1 pass, and then they try to slide, but not before Kerwick gets a clear left-handed shot. And he's got a goal and an assist.
Well, Dick McPherson earlier today, this crowd here in the Dome finally got to see Marvin Graves in action. Boy, he really thrilled them with a long bomb, and he actually caught a touchdown pass.
Yes. The thing he liked the best was that long bomb. I talked to him. We just came back from down at Manley Fieldhouse, and I just think that the people are looking at who the quarterback was going to be. I don't think they ever really fell in love with any quarterback last year, and I think they were looking for one. And now we've got to. I told Marvin, you better hang on because they all think you're the guy.
Well, what do you think?
Well, certainly.
Not to put you on the spot.
You certainly. Why don't you just come right out and ask the question, Dave? I feel this, that he has all the speed that you need. He has all the athletic ability that you need, and plus he's a quarterback that has that great arm. He can really throw the football.
We saw that, boy.
Yeah. And there was one time there he was 9 for 12 as it was going on, so I think that really helped quite a bit.
We saw him not only throw the bomb a couple of times, but really throw that out pattern. Once to Carpenter, really drilled it.
Yes, I think the other thing about it, at this time last year, we were wondering about Robert Carpenter, and Robert Carpenter came into his own in the spring game last year. And I think if we had Robert Carpenter last year, then Marvin Graves is the Robert Carpenter of '89.
You had a couple of good receivers too. I thought Antonio Johnson looked good.
Antonio had a great day. I think the guy that we also looked for was Shelby Hill. I thought he did a good job.
Number 12 had a great, good hands and very, very fast. The receivers look to be very, very agile and very, very fast.
It's amazing when you lose a guy like Robert Moore that we could almost get to be decent.
There's Greg Burns getting his 5th goal of the game. That ties his career high. Here's a former quarterback from Janesville DeWitt High School.
Yes, I know it, and I think there's a little bit of the Pomeroy family in him because everybody's always saying Greg should have been here. He's here. He's having a great career. I think the thing about it is that, he's into a sport that he loves. He's a fine athlete. I think he can play any sport. He's that kind of a kid.
Well, I remember in the old days when those football guys used to be out playing defense.
That's right.
Exactly right. Yep. In fact, when I was at the University of Massachusetts in the Yankee Conference, stop football in the mid-'50s, that's how lacrosse was born at UMass, because they wanted football players to have something to do in the spring.
I saw Ray White for Syracuse coming down at Old Coin Field when it was a grass surface. He was about 250 pounds, and there was a poor guy from RPI who was trying to defend, who dove out of the way as Ray was coming down like a freight train and broke his collarbone without being touched.
Oh my!
Poor guy dove out of the way and landed and broke his collarbone.
Those days are over now. The lacrosse players have their own type of athletes, but
I think
it's a little
that,
different now.
Yeah, I think that everybody's talking about Brian LeBaron coming into his 5th year, but I think it might have passed him by, quite honestly.
Brian LeBaron, I thought linebacking was a spot you were looking at very closely this spring. What did you think of the linebacking?
Well, I think that what we want to do with Brian, we know that he can play the outside. We wanted to get the work inside to see where we could use him the best, and we also wanted to get that nickel work, and I think he established himself as a nickel linebacker and a backup inside linebacker, and we know that he can always play the outside. So it was a good spring for Brian LeBaron.
Greg Burns making the move. He's got 5 goals already. There's a beautiful feed to Jim Egan. I'll tell you, even if you have the hot hand in lacrosse, they still always like to pass and get that assist.
One of the things about scoring, this spring, I've been to some awful spring games. Not while you were here, of course. But in terms of interest, I think there was a lot of action. I thought the ball was up in the air a lot. Now, did the kids call many plays? Or I know you guys did a lot on your own before this.
Yeah, I think what we tried to do was restrict the defense so the offense could have some fun and throw the ball downfield without being confused to what the coverage is, to what the front. So we can check them out on assignments and not surprise, and so they should know what to do mentally.
Look at that play. Did he step in the crease? I think that was Paul Legary. He did. Sorry to interrupt your thought there.
You know, you guys have been around a lot. What do you see in Gary Gaits that you haven't seen? Is this the best you've seen?
You talk to other coaches, and they just say those brothers are the best lacrosse players ever, some of them say. I was wondering about him on the football field. I thought it would have been interesting to see him on the football field.
He's even wondering about it. He was out to practice the other day when he had the bad thumb. I know that it's driving him nuts to wonder if he'd be good enough at it.
Well, I thought maybe the CFL might take a chance on him.
Oh, sure. Oh, sure.
There's Dennis Simmons after the fine save by Palem. Crossfield into the middle to Burns, who's really come into his own in his senior year. Paul Gaits coming on now. Thing about the Gaits is they have unbelievable balance and strength. People just bounce off of them.
I think what you're talking about is top football type athletes with the great skills of a lacrosse athlete. And, they got all the skills, and then I think they brought it to another level from the speed and strength and size standpoint. But, you guys, you don't know, I don't know how good they are compared to.
Well, you've done a great job of getting great athletes now, too. And did you do a lot of position changes this spring?
Not too many. I just think that I think what we're trying to do is get, to get the right guy in at the guard spot on offensive line, to let the receivership take care of its own, and we're not even sure that we've solved the running back situation yet. That's a little concern of ours. Even though we're going to be good, can we be great? I think Drummond and Owens made greatness for us. I don't think we're there yet. So we're going to get a look at those young kids when they come in.
Of course, you get a break with an easy schedule, too.
Oh, boy. Isn't that going to be something down there? Are you guys going to be down for the Kickoff Classic? Are you going to do that one also?
Well, we hope to.
Yep.
Yeah, that's great.
We hope We'll have the rest of the 11 games.
Yep.
Southern Cal, that's a tough one to start with, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
Southern Cal, I believe, only brings back 23 upper-class players.
They lost 1 or 2 to the pro, didn't they? Esau, the inside linebacker,
I think he's a great player. They've lost something there. And then Carrier, the free safety.
He should have been here with that name.
Yeah. Wow. I never thought of that. That would have been something, huh?
Gary Gaits has now. We're down to 5.5 minutes to go in the third quarter, with Syracuse leading at 16-5. It was a very nice gesture to introduce Robert Moore to the crowd. Rob Moore.
Didn't they receive him well, huh?
Well, and Rahib Ismail, too. That was a very classy thing. I thought that was great.
I think the fans get a big kick out of seeing him, don't you think?
I saw him signing autographs over there. I thought it was a very nice thing to do.
Yeah,
I made the statement that privately that I think Rob Moore may be the best player ever to come out of Syracuse in football or basketball in his respective position.
Yeah, there you are.
That's how good he is.
See what he's coming out. Yeah, he is the top player at his position in the country. And the nice thing about it, we've been able to arrange it that he's going to go in the supplemental drive where he doesn't even have to contest it. That what National Football League team is going to let him go by?
Right.
That's what's going to be fun to watch. They're going to get killed whoever does. So it's going to make a nice financial package for him.
If you ever watch that draft, it'll probably be the Jets. They seem to do that every year.
I just hope that he remembers the old coach in his old age. The old coach got to be taken care of in his old age.
Looks like you're going to have quite a few more of those guys. Recruiting very, very good again this year.
Well, you saw this one kid come out there. You're talking about the, Matt from Williamsport, PA.
Kid's a moose.
Yeah, and you're talking about the best offensive lineman to come out of high school this year.
Lance Savage with a goal.
You knew that was going to happen, right, Dave?
I did.
They're probably, all these people are saying, get this McPherson out of this lacrosse game. I better get out of here before I get hurt. I want you to know that I love lacrosse. I love this rivalry. I love Hobart, you know, and Syracuse, this local thing. And you're talking about the Division III champions versus Division I champions. This local, it's a great dream for these Hobart guys in orange to come down here and knock us off. I was here when the '81 game was on. That was just a fantastic game. And so I've been a fan of this Hobart-Syracuse thing ever since. And I must say that I'm glad we're winning.
And a great crowd, too, for the football game and for the lacrosse game.
Now, do the Geneva stations get this on Channel 13 down there?
Well, they'll get to see it.
Yeah, on cable. But it won't be 13.
What's the difference?
Huh? Okay. All right.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you very much. Hey, by the way, wasn't that a wonderful affair last Sunday night? Huh?
It was for Jack Griffin.
I just think that, you know, when a guy's served so much time at East Syracuse Manor like Jack did, we're awful happy for him. But I didn't have any idea that he was such a tough guy. See you later.
Okay, Mac. Thank you.
4 minutes and 8 seconds to go in this third quarter. Never at a loss for words.
Never. Which tells you why he's so well liked. And one little segue, so is that guy right there. And he's going to win a lot of games for them. But this one is not going to be one of them, I don't think. It's 16-6. But I tell you what, they're still hustling and they getting some goals. Lance Savage put one away while we were talking to Coach McPherson.
Syracuse led it 6-2 at the end of one quarter. They jumped to a 4-0 lead to start this game. Now we're down to the final 3.5 minutes of quarter number 3. And there's Palem defending well again. The ball going to McCabe. At the half, it was a 13-4 Syracuse lead.
Matt Palem up to 17 saves, and a lot of them have been of the spectacular variety.
Rob Persing, 34. Sending down now to
Uh-oh.
new names, new faces in the game for Syracuse, and the scores continue to mount.
Number 17.
That was Nick Boynton on the goal.
Yep, Boynton. There he is. Looked like an Air Boynton for a minute, but he just ran out in front of the goal mouth and pushed it back in. So Boynton comes up with his first goal. Syracuse is 17.
And for Nick, his second goal of the year. 17-6. Intended for McCarthy beyond his grasp. Tambroni over to play it. Syracuse's Andrew Boland can really hustle. He whips it crossfield, and it is nearly intercepted by Di Maria, but it's picked up by Jamie Archer. He feeds the crease, and there's the goal. Nice job by Jamie Archer as he fed Brooke Chase, and the one-time Hobart player has scored for Syracuse against his former team.
Great job. Looked downfield, but the ball went by the midfield and then down and then stopped right there by Archer. And he looks and he passes it. And you see the result. Nice job by Jamie Archer on the assist and Brooke Chase on the goal.
Archer has his 4th assist of the year, and Brooke Chase is his 2nd goal. 18-6. What'd you say Syracuse is averaging? 21 goals a game?
21-9 is their average score.
This one could end up right on those numbers. McCarthy giving ground at his own end. Phil McCarthy. Now Tambroni is checked by Bill Tully in the game. This has been a very successful tactic by Syracuse. At least it was earlier. The ride caused a couple of problems early for Andrew Bender.
Tully, by the way, 6'4", 240, gives a little size to the defense.
Here's Di Maria. I don't believe he scored today, has he?
Shot, save. Palem up to 18 saves. Having a good day in the cage.
Mike Di Maria came in as one of the leading goal scorers for Hobart.
Oh, nice move. Savage not able to get it on the goal, but a nice jump from the crease.
DiMaria's been totally blank. No goals, no points.
Oh, there's an error.
Gate.
That was Aaron Miller.
Palin congratulating him for the effort, if not for the goal.
Watch. Bill Miller sees an opening, sees a defenseman slide. It looked like it was in.
Never broke the plane, did it?
Looked like it was inside the pipe. Well, maybe we can look at that again in a second or two.
Here's that low stick move made by McCabe with eyes behind his head.
He's amazing.
He gives it up beautifully. Ricky Kramer playing it now. Dan Cahey, we're down to 1 minute and 10 seconds to go in the third quarter. This has never really been much of a game. Syracuse jumped to a 4-0 lead. Took the wind out of Hobart's sail immediately.
Last year,
Archer to chase.
I was just going to say last year, Dave, you remember going into the fourth quarter was 1 goal difference. I think it was 8-7 Syracuse lead at the end of the third quarter.
And that was on Hobart's home field on the grass surface. Miller with a look-away pass.
Nice look. I think Palin got a stick on that. DiMaria. Oh.
Half a minute to go. Out it goes to Tambroni. Goes to the left hand. Spinning. He comes free. And he scores. Nice job by Jeff Tambroni. Acknowledged by Palin with a little tap after the goal. Palin came up to challenge him, and Hobart is on the board. 18-7.
Had to happen. They took a lot of shots at him. And Tambroni. Oh, this is Miller. Let's check. Okay, everything's okay so far. That should have been a goal, I think.
Where's the ball?
Right there. That's unless.
Yeah, it's in. It's up in the upper
you can
corner
hit
there.
you can hit the. And his foot's not there. You can hit the.
Oh, there's the ball coming out.
Yeah, but that's already broke the plane. Maybe, I don't know, maybe his foot was on the line before when he took off. At any rate, it was a great effort. Here's another one by the same man.
As the third quarter comes to an end. So, I don't know if you could say that was Miller time or not. But 3 quarters have expired here in the Dome, and Syracuse has a comfortable lead of 11 over Hobart. And the battle of the national champions will return with a fourth quarter following these messages. Now we're set for the beginning of the fourth quarter. And as we begin this fourth quarter, we'll see a new goaltender for the Hobart Statesman, David Weston. Syracuse sent out their backup goaltender. Take a couple of practice shots between periods, but for the moment, Matt Palin remains in the cage. Gary Gait working hard, and they take it away from him.
Triple teamed.
Gait has had 1 goal in this game, right?
I think you're right.
We're speaking of Gary and Paul. And the Statesman doing a good job against the brothers. There's Paul coming up with it. He has that look of determination. Oh, what a shot. He just threw in to Lance Savage. Behind his back to Dumpson. Oh, high. Man, you saw the strength of Paul Gait as he came upfield. 3-quarter statistics. The Hobart creeping up in the shot department.
Yeah. They've had 6 man-up opportunities. Here you're going to see, look at this. Boom. Trying to get off with the body, and Savage just down on the turf here as Syracuse, and you see the laundry fly in there, the yellow flag. Syracuse will get the ball, and it will be Gary Gait. So it'll be a 1-minute penalty on that. I thought they might just give a hold, but no, it'll be a slash. Good call, so maybe a good time for Eric Gait.
Oh, we have this momentary pause here. It's been a weekend with football and lacrosse here in the Dome, and we're going to welcome back the Syracuse Chiefs. Baseball is back in Syracuse. Despite a nippy opening day, great crowd out at Big Mac, and certainly encourage you folks in town who've been there before to return again this year. And if you're new to Syracuse, maybe new to the sport of lacrosse, we've got a great asset in AAA baseball here in Syracuse. And
Tell me, it was cold out there for opening day?
yeah, it was a little chill. Of course, I'm cold all over. Here's Dumpson against Weston.
Ball right back in as soon as the ball boys can get it. No timeouts.
Really has picked up the pace of games this year. The absence of substitution horns when the ball goes beyond the end line. Syracuse working against the zone, backwards and in. Two behind the back passes, and Gary Gaits put it in. And that's why fans stay till the end of these lacrosse games.
Yeah.
Because they know they'll be rewarded with something they've never seen or haven't seen too often before.
You know, Coach Simmons says he'd like to tape them in practice and show people, because he said they do even more unbelievable things in practice.
I have heard unofficially that one of the Gaits is working on a shot where he pops the ball into the air and passes it to himself and then comes down and fires a second time. I got to see that.
I think it was interesting that Coach Mack said that he was down watching spring practice, maybe wondering what he would have been like on a football field.
You saw the broken field running ability of Paul Gaits moments ago. Dropped that shoulder into somebody and dumped him. It was Savage who paid the price. 19-7.
Just checking some stats. We talk about the Gaits not doing a lot of scoring. Paul's got 5 assists.
That was a shot by Jamie Archer that hit the side of the cage. Weston having trouble.
You know, think about Archer being a freshman. I've seen him get into this game as he goes along, and he's playing much, much better and much, much more than he did at the beginning of the year, and he's going to be quite an attack man.
Unsettled situation as Hobart rushes it down. They feed Fogle.
Nice save.
Lee Hine in there now made the save.
Bonacci does a little whirling dervish.
Up ahead to Cahey. He's got great legs under him. Here comes Dan Cahey. He really gets stretched out when he gets running.
Yeah, he does. And he's a big kid, 200 pounds. Oh, nice feed. Nice look for Chase.
Archer looking for Chase. Bonacci runs it down. The Smurfs are on now.
Yeah, I get a kick out of that because Bonacci's about 187 pounds. Diminutive, however.
Jamie Archer. About 160 maybe, out of Nottingham, a freshman.
You know, I think his dad played football for Syracuse a while back.
Dave Archer.
Yep.
That was Ryder who's on.
Cahey fakes a shot.
Coming back to the right hand for the shot and the score. Dan Cahey. And he now has his 7th goal of the year. And it goes to 20-7.
There's the fake left-handed. Cahey turns around right-handed and takes the shot past DiGiovanni. And Cahey up with a not an important goal, but one for him. But it's 20-7 with a lot of time left. Face off for Hobart, number 17.
Syracuse's 23-game home winning streak looks very safe this afternoon.
We got a push. Mr. Cullen calls a push. It'll be Hobart ball. As they set. That's Patton with the ball.
Hobart, in 6 wins coming into this game, has allowed a total of 31 goals. They've surrendered 20 here today against Syracuse. Bill Miller, great fake. He's doubled and gives it up. Screen shot. Lee Hine, good reaction to it.
James Patton, the midfielder, took the shot. 33, ball behind. Tambroni
Tambroni could not uncork it initially, and now he does, and he gets the goal past Lee Hine.
That's going to be a penalty, but it's going to be wiped out on the goal. That was on Bill Tully, 45 on a hold. They'll wipe it out as it was a technical and will be wiped out. And you see him come back. Now Tully's 6'4", 240, and Tambroni takes a nice left-handed shot. And you get a look at Tambroni, 5'10", 160, so he's outweighed by 80 pounds and about 6 inches in height.
Has a pair of goals in this game and 13 on the season now. Andrew Bolin. Pop pass in the middle for Gil Martin. He's doubled. Loses his ball and the stick.
Playing without a stick in his hand. He kicked the ball and didn't have his stick. You can kick the ball, but you got to have the stick in your hand.
Patton's logged a lot of time in this game for Hobart.
What did you
Patton's
say?
only a sophomore out of Greenwich, Connecticut, Avon Old Farm.
Just checking who they had next. Hobart.
Nazareth.
Nazareth, that's right.
Tambroni holding the ball away, so it can't be checked from behind. Mulhern starts his move on Bolin. Giving it up now to Patton.
Lannon, 48, in for Syracuse, playing defense.
And Lannon. Is Velopek against Gil Martin, who took it away. Don't forget, at the end of the game, we'll select our Pepsi Player of the Game. Stratton holds the ball out front. Nice pass in the middle. Gil Martin gives it up as he's doubled. Who's got it now? They feed the crease and they get the goal.
It was Sean McGowan, I think 27, who started it off, and that's what happens when you have a day when you're not doing much of what you think you can do, and Syracuse is the cause for a lot of that, but with 9:58 left, it's 21-8.
Steve Bettinger gets the goal out of Hewlett, New York. He's only a freshman.
Bettinger with the goal, and I think 27 would get the assist. That would be McGowan. So nice job.
The Archmen now have hit their per game average. Bettinger's first college goal at Syracuse.
Oh. Nice check by John Barr.
21-8.
Lots of new faces in for Syracuse. You know, that's one good thing, I suppose, as you dominated people.
Miller tried a behind the back pass or shot and got it back.
Able to get a lot of people in.
Feeding wildly. Di Maria would like to get on the scoreboard here. Scoops it up. Mike Di Maria is a senior out of FM. It's his final dome game, no doubt. Picked up by John Goodwin.
Piano man.
Up ahead to Lannon. Now Nick Boynton has got a goal. Bettinger.
Oh, feet
in a crowd, and the goal is put in.
John Barr, 32, I think.
Yeah, it was.
And he's happy.
Smile to Roy Simmons.
You know, obviously the game's not in jeopardy. He's glad for the kid that John Barr gets a chance to score. It was a crowded crease, as you can see. Barr really able to control the ball and put it on the stick and get it out quickly. And John Barr up with his first goal.
Also at stake in this game is the possession of the Krause-Simmons Trophy, awarded annually to the winner of the Syracuse-Hobart game. This is the 5th game being played for the trophy. Hobart had it the first year, and Syracuse has had it since.
Nice check.
Kerwick, 14 on that check. Bodies go down. That's Goodwin, number 3, battling in there. Still in play. And now we're going to get a whistle to stop it with 8:14 to go and a 22-8 Syracuse lead. Jason Picorni is in 16 for the white-shirted Orangemen.
There's a ball down.
DeBur and Reed, number 15 in the game as well.
Coming up on 8 minutes, fourth quarter.
Some fans have been in the Dome now for close to 6 hours. The football spring game, followed by this contest. Lennon carrying it through traffic, giving it up to Goodwin. John feeds the crease. He gets the return. He can't get a shot away. They just swarmed all over him. Bettinger, number 12, and they're battling for it. DiMaria has it hacked out of his stick. Syracuse ball.
.37. That's the one of the men we were talking about. Robinson.
That's Chris Robinson for the Orange. John Barr got the goal, number 32.
Oh, nice.
Feeding
look.
in close. Saved by Goodwin. Outside he goes now to Todd Coleman, 38. This one just never was a contest.
Never was, and as I said, I think Syracuse does that to a lot of teams, and people should not get the impression that this Hobart is not a good team. They are. Syracuse is just extraordinary sometimes, and
Boynton got the pass from Goodwin, and a nice save made by Weston.
Yep, and that brings the Hobart fans to their feet.
You got to give those fans a lot of credit too. They're in there cheering for their team that has no chance to win this game. They're cheering the hits.
Nice job by Barker there, 40 to get across the midfield line.
Here's one of the nation's best, Bill Miller.
Oh. Tried a little behind the back. He has played well. He's moved, he's run hard.
Now down to 6:15 to go. Let's see if they get the ball to DiMaria. Let's see if DiMaria's on.
DiMaria, 22. Not out there. Oh. Not out there. That'll do it. Tambroni got it. A number of Fayetteville Manly's products have played in
There's
this
Patton
game.
looking for the right-handed shot. The defense knocked that one down. Defenseman, I think, took that right in the thigh.
McGowan, 27.
That's DiMaria there on the sidelines.
Fayetteville Manly's Matt Moore also from Hobart out. For Syracuse in the Hobart game from Fayetteville.
You saw the attendance posted there, 18,458. Hobart sends on their third goalie of the game. This is Pat Solomon out of Baldwinsville. Mulhern. Can Hobart save this one?
Yes. I'll say this, a lot of people staying to watch this game to the very end.
Here's Savage going behind. Pagoda with a spin move.
Gonna double him.
He gets rid of it before the double. Savage sending outside. Patton going with a right-hand shot. Hine played it beautifully with the outlet. Not handled cleanly, however, by Scott Snyder.
Oh.
He's paying the price. DeBur and Reed losing possession.
Failure to advance the ball. So that will be ball to Hobart.
and it's going to belong to Syracuse. Nobody was behind. You have 4.5 minutes to go. Syracuse about to run their record to 6-0, and Hobart will lose for the first time on the season and the first time under B.J. O'Hara. One of B.J.'s brothers, Tim O'Hara, is Syracuse's all-time leading point producer. And I think that record will be safe from assault by Gary Gaits.
One thing I'll say, don't be surprised to see this orange-clad group in that national championship game for Division III, despite the fact they are not going to be able to do much today.
Solomon stopped that shot, his first of the game. Now Velopek. Into the middle of the field he goes. They work the ball in. They had Syracuse beat. They had the numbers on the orange. Syracuse sinks back into their defensive posture.
It's a little bit of a pull down. Oh, he's going to apologize. That was Cannon at 20. And he pulled down Hobart, and that's going to be in a. Somebody's going to have to sit.
Number 20.
Don't forget to be with us for coverage of Syracuse and Cornell. You'll see it here in Central New York on Cable 13 Friday night at 8. Mike DeMaria is on, number 22.
Number 3, sail off the field when the game is over. Thank you.
Hobart mishandling. Drury is in pursuit. Drury sticks it, goes across the midfield line, comes back. There's a bounce pass, and it caught Bill Miller by surprise. An AstroTurf bounce pass.
Coach Donahue, Coach Desko still talking, still working. Got young kids in there trying to get them some experience and learn.
Hine up the sideline. Carried by Winship. Nice pass, but a little bit behind Gil Martin. John Barr tried to play it. Under 3 minutes to go now, 22-8. Very close to the average Syracuse score this year of 21-9. Nice behind the back upfield pass, John Barr. Gil Martin is trailing on the other wing. Nice give in close.
Oh, nice look.
Brooke Chase missed that shot. He already has a goal against Hobart, his former team. Jamie Archer faking the dodge. Feeding behind for Chase. He got a shot on the head. Clean shot according to the official nearby. Bill Martin wants it. He got it.
He did.
Beating Pat Solomon. I believe Pat's father, Bill, is the basketball coach at Beeville.
Tom Gilmartin, a sophomore, 6'1", 203, good size kid, a lot of power, and that's goal 23 for Syracuse.
Last year, Syracuse won at 17-8, a game that was 8-7 in the fourth quarter. Here today, Syracuse jumped to a 4-0 lead, and that was it. The old saying about the Green Bay Packers may be true of this year's Syracuse team. Somebody said there was no difference between the NFL and the AFL. It was between Green Bay and everybody else.
Yep.
And I think you may be able to say that when this year is done. The difference is between Syracuse and everybody else in this sport of lacrosse.
Although, you know, it's going to be interesting to see what Yale does. We have not seen them, and they have been impressive, and they are number 2. And when you don't see a team and get a chance to look at them too much, and I'm sure Syracuse has, but I'll be interested to see how Yale does in the playoffs.
Picked up by Jason Picorni with 1:40 to go. Weak shot on the crease. 23 goals by Syracuse represents an all-time high in the 75-game history of this series.
Under a minute. Clock on the field.
Matt Ryder, number 4, will begin the play for Syracuse.
Should said under 2 minutes. Clock on the field. That's a new rule this year.
Quick stick on the one-timer attempt.
Nice check.
Well, who would have thought it? 23 goals and only 1 by Gary Gaits. That's a goal for Hobart.
Number 2.
Lance Savage gets it.
Over on the left side. Nice dodge to get the ball over to Savage and just didn't have much room. Put it on the offside. Now we're under a minute.
23-9. Crowd of 18,458. John Goodwin with a spinning move. Goodwin is doubled. Gets the ball away now at 40 seconds to go. Solomon stops it in his crease. Sophomore sends it out nicely to 47 for the Statesman, TJ Gerasi. That's the time remaining in the game.
Gerasi moving, he's going to attract a lot of white jerseys.
Now they feed it up top for the shot by Gerasi. Clock will stop with 4 seconds to go.
Attracted a lot of attention. Savage got him the ball. He got a shot off, but a defenseman sent it up high.
And there will be no further scoring. That is it. This lacrosse game is over, and Syracuse stays unbeaten. On the 1990 season, they have now won 24 straight games here in the Carrier Dome, beating the Statesmen of Hobart 23-9. And we will return with our Pepsi Player of the Game selection right after these words. We're back with you in the Carrier Dome. Syracuse with 23 goals, the most ever against Hobart, has defeated the Statesmen 23-9. There's B.J. O'Hara. That's the first loss he has suffered in his brief and new tenure as the head coach of Hobart. Right now, let's go down to the field to Syracuse head coach Roy Simmons Jr., proudly holding the Krause-Simmons Trophy for the 4th straight year. And Roy, you're a man of arts and letters, so I'll let you explain to us what it means now for Syracuse to win this for the 4th year in a row against Hobart.
Well, it's emblematic of a great game and a great tradition, and it's real special because it's got Babe Krause's name on it, and of course my dad's name. That they went at it tooth and nail like we're going at it now with Hobart back in the 20s, 30s, 40s, and 50s, and it's a special trophy because it's supremacy of upstate lacrosse, and in this case, 2 national champions, both undefeated, coming in the game. Somebody had to walk out a loser, and I'm glad it wasn't us, and I love to see this stay home.
Roy, now Syracuse undefeated this year, going for their 3rd national championship. 18,000 people turning out again today to watch lacrosse, same as the Hopkins crowd. There are a whole new generation, I think, of lacrosse fans. You've got to be just so gratified with the way the public has really taken to this sport.
Well, I never thought we'd see the enthusiasm and the support of the city of Syracuse, and I think a lot of that has to do with Marine Midland Bank, who has made this community conscious of the fact that it's got a 2-time defending national champion team up on the hill, and they've made it possible for people to get tickets and come here and enjoy what is a king in the spring, Syracuse lacrosse.
Coach, did you think, I hate to say it was going to be this easy, but we're kind of getting used to that. 21-9 has been the average score, with 23-9 now. What are you going to tell your kids?
Well, it's tough. As BJ said, my toughest games are probably practices. It's hard to keep the kids hungry when they're not being tested much more than 10-15 minutes a ball game. But coming down the road, we got some real tough customers waiting out there in Rutgers and UMass and University of Pennsylvania. We're not taking anybody lightly, and I see today Virginia is on this winning streak again, and come towards the end of May, it's going to get a little tougher, and we just got to keep the edge sharp and keep these kids humble and keep them hungry.
I'm just going to ask you, Yale is a team obviously ranked number 2. We don't see them here. I'm sure you have seen them at least on tape. How are they?
Well, they're real. They're cerebral. They move the ball well. They're well disciplined. And Johnny Reese is the son of Walter Reese, who's a great defenseman here. We have a pact with my kids. When they leave here after playing for me, which he did, Walter Reese, that you always return your firstborn male child. And he sent him to Rutgers or to Yale instead. He's captain of the football team, and he's averaging 4 or 5 goals a game. He's real. He's the closest thing to the Gaits as there is in the business today, and he's the main man on the midfield for Yale. I've seen him play. They're an excellent team, and I wouldn't doubt we'll see him before the season's out.
Roy, I guess it's natural to overlook the defense with the only offensive weapons you have, but Matt Palin played tremendously, and the defense shut down people like Di Maria today.
Right. Well, Matt, he discourages them early on, and then they play for to get a little closer, one more pass, and then our defense takes over. Matt takes their enthusiasm away, and they take high percentage shots, and that's just Matt's game. He's had a great year so far.
Does he have carte blanche to go downfield like he did early on?
Well, he does, but we're not real deep in that position. I wouldn't want to think that he could go down like he did in '87. With an injury and couldn't bounce back for the playoffs. He's special to us, and I'd rather see him stay at home, but he loves to wander.
Well, that trophy won't wander. It's yours for another year.
Yeah, well, thanks. I love it. I got up this morning and polished it. I had a sneaking suspicion I was going to stay home. Before I put it back in the trophy case, I'd like to polish it up.
Good luck against Cornell.
Thank you.
Roy Simmons, Syracuse head coach, following this 23-9 win over Hobart. The Krause-Simmons trophy remains in his possession for another year. Syracuse takes to the road in a couple of days to go down to meet the Big Red of Cornell, and we'll have that game for you. By the way, our Pepsi Player of the Game selection.
Yeah.
No surprise, it's a return visitor here to our post-game show.
Right.
Greg Burns.
Back again. You've been hot. We just we talked about it at the top of the show. The last 3 games you'd have 12 goals, and you got 5 today. Any explanation of why you're so hot right at this time?
I guess I'm just hitting the open spot at the goal right now. Gary and Paul are doing a great job, distributing the ball. I'm just working hard to get myself in the open spot, so when I do get the ball, I have a relatively close shot to the goal.
One thing that people say, they always talk about the Gaits. They really didn't do a lot of scoring today, but people say, well, there's other weapons. Obviously, you're one of them. Do you think that that happens sometimes? People look at them and maybe forget a little bit about you and some of the other guys?
Yeah, well, you gotta watch them first. They're the 2 best players in lacrosse. So, coach always tells us, to keep working hard because you're going to get the ball. They're going to have to, they're going to double and triple team them. So, when the ball does come to you, you got to make something happen, or you're not going to be out there.
Greg, we're going to take a look at your 5th goal of the game. Why don't you take us through it? If you remember, you can look at the monitor. Here you are against Velopet.
Yeah, well, there's a short stick on me, and the coach likes, it's a mismatch because, you were used to having long sticks, on the close attack. So whenever there's a short stick on the close attack, when the coach likes you to go to the goal, and so that's basically what I did, and I got a step, and I just bounced between his legs.
When did you decide? I'm curious. When did you decide to put that ball down? I mean, that's almost like an instantaneous thing because you weren't sure where he was when you came around, and then you put it between his legs. That's something you just instinctively did, or did you think a little bit about it?
Yeah, it's just kind of a habit. I like to, when I'm in tight on the goalie, I don't have time to throw a pump fake or something. I like to put the ball down at his feet, because there's not much of his body there. Compared to his chest.
Pretty goal.
And a great game. 5 goals. Again, our congratulations to Greg Burns.
Thanks a lot.
Our Pepsi Player of the Game. So that'll about do it here from the Carrier Dome as Syracuse wins over Hobart 23-9. Next up, it's Cornell. Again, bragging rights to Central New York Lacrosse on the line. We'll have that one for you on Friday night. There again is your final score. Syracuse goes to 6-0. Hobart is 6-1. Now speaking for Dale Drypulcher, our producer-director Frank Rafka, and the entire crew of Super Sports, this is Dave Cohen saying so long from the Carrier Dome. This has been a presentation of Super Sports and Cook Cablevision of Syracuse.